Ho-Re prototype is going up to 6.3. That's also nice to see. The good old Ho-Re prototype is running around amok, as it has done for a very long time. The Ho-Res are very fun in the game. If you've never played them, I highly recommend them. The Su-122 is going down to 2.7. This is good. The Soviet tank destroyers are awful when it comes to their non-turreted ones, sorry, on the T-34 chassis. Them going down more and more and more always makes me happy because they become more usable. The Su-122 has a long reload. It doesn't have a lot going for it, so going down is good. The 150mm SLG or S1G 33B SFL, this is the Sturmpanzer. This is going down to 1.3. It's a derp cannon. You can play it at pretty much any BR, so seeing it go down just means its ranges are a little bit longer. Same with the Ho-Ro as well, so these changes don't really mean anything. The Archer is also going down to 3.0, so we have a 17-pounder at 3.0. I thought the Archer was fine at 3.3. You just had to play it with a very specific playstyle. You know, cap a point and then sit near the point and hold the point and make sure that your gun depression isn't an issue. And there's a lot of tank destroyers that do that anyway, so I didn't really see a problem with it. I'm guessing people are struggling to use the Archer as it was intended, so I think it's fine that it's going down to 3.0, but I think it was also fine at 3.3. Whatever happens, it is a very niche, unique vehicle, so it is never going to see, you know, a ton of widespread playtime. The Su-51 is going down to 1.0. That's fine. Once again, doesn't really, the vehicle is not good. It's not great for, let's call it, the new player experience. It has 8 shells on that 76, and that means you can kill about 8 targets, but when you got stuff like Stuarts running around and Panzer IIs running around, you get mauled. So yeah, making it go down I think is fine overall. The Su-76M and the ETB Su-76M and the 5th Guards Corps one, I'm pretty sure that this is like the premium ones. So let's just see. Su-76M and the Guard Corps. Yeah, I'm guessing it is. I don't have that third one, but it's probably some kind of, you know, premium one or something. ETB? I'm not sure what ETB, extraterrestrial bongos maybe. But yeah, they're all going down to 2.0. And moved in front of the LVTs is 2. Oh, is it in the Chinese tech tree? Is that what it's saying? Oh, it is in the Chinese tech tree. Okay. So what they're also doing with these machines is they moved in front of the ZIS-30 on rank 1. So the Su-76s are going to rank 1. And so is the Chinese one, which is kind of a surprise. I don't think they need to go to rank 1. I think leaving them in rank 2 is fine, and it just makes the grind to rank 3 a little bit harder now for the Soviets and the Chinese. But I mean, overall, it's not too much of a difference, but yeah, it's kind of annoying. The Su-76 has the same issue as all the other Soviet tank destroyers: too long of a reload, really bad gun depression, not great engines, so getting to areas is not easy, fighting in areas is not easy, and then you get killed by a plane anyway. So yeah, it's not a surprise to see them continue to go down in BR, even though their gun is very powerful. The Panzerjäger 1 is going down to 1.3. There's a lot of love for tank destroyers in this one. I'm liking it. Very happy to see that. But yeah, Panzerjäger is going down to 1.3. Hopefully this will make that little gun-shielded baby do a little bit more. The SDKFC 221. Oh, really? The little speedy boy's going down to 1.0. Oh, that would be a wonderful starter vehicle for a lot of people. The squeeze ball, as it's known. So that's going down to 1.0. So that's great as well. The 15 centimeter PZW42, that's going down to 3.0. This is the rocket launcher for the premium one. It's a meme vehicle. No matter where you put it, it won't be that effective. So lowering it BR, it'll increase its effectiveness a little bit, but it'll never be like meta defining. So it's nice to see that. But yeah, it won't make too much of a difference. The Su-57B 3.0, finally, once again, this vehicle is slowly but surely falling from grace. Remember, this vehicle, when it was out, I believe, was at least 4.3, maybe 4.7, I think it was at 4.3, and now it's at 3.0. My God, how the mighty have fallen. I remember when seeing this thing's BR when it first came out, and I was like, you've got to be joking me. This is a tin can with a 57 strapped to it. Are you really going to make it the same BR as a T-34 57? And luckily, it has finally got the treatment it deserves, which is an incredibly low BR because it's got no power in the engine. It gets killed by every plane in existence. And yes, every so often it's nice to donk somebody with the 57, but because of how your machine is set up, because of how your casemate is set up, they always get the first shot on you. So therefore, what's the point? Because you're gonna die or you're gonna take damage whenever you trade. So seeing it go down in BR, not a surprise at all. This thing could be a 2.0 and it'd still be useless. Moving it to rank 2, I think that's fine because at 3.0, there isn't actually any other vehicles in rank 3 which are 3.0. In the ground tech tree, I know Pakrishkin's is 3.0 if I remember correctly. 3.0 at rank 3. But yeah, the closest thing in BR to it, at least from realistic terms, is 3.7. So moving it down to rank 2 is okay. Makes the most sense to me. The SU-152 going down to 4.7, not a surprise. Same issues as I've said before. Slow reload, not very fast, no turrets, all of this stuff makes it not a very happy bunny. Hopefully at some point the higher ones will get moved down, like the ISUs, the ISU-122 and the 122S. Those things are straight garbage. At least the SU-152 is able to, pen with its shell and make stuff go kaboom every once in a while. But moving it down to 4.7 will make it a little bit more useful. It's also switched places with the Su-86. Su-86? What the hell is the Su-86? So, wait. Oh, they've just typed it wrong. Okay. So, it's going to go Su-85 into Su-152 into Su-85M. How's that going to work? So they're going to ungroup the Su-85 and the Su-85M? Because those two are grouped right now. So they're going to go Su-85, Su-152, and then Su-85M after it? Is that what they're going to do? But that's my guess. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but I'll ask for clarification, but I'm guessing that's what it is. And then the Flak Panzer 38 is going down to 1.7. Don't move that thing down. I don't need more autocannons from the Germans with their 20s and their HVAP going rat-tat-tat-tat while I'm moving through. Not interested. I'm not interested in that. I've had too many horrors from that 141 and those Panzer 2Cs. We don't need another one added to that list. But yeah, I mean, as an AA, the Flak Panzer 38 is pretty bad. As a tank destroyer, it's pretty damn good. Moving on to the fleet changes now. So we have the PR-35. That's going down to 4.0. And as I said, we're looking at arcade for these ones. So going down to 4.0 is an interesting one because now it keeps it on par with its brother in the tech tree, the Project 159, which has been at 4.0 for a while. I think it just took a little bit of a while to catch up with that one, even though the Project 35 is technically a little bit better than it in a few ways. It's really nothing different to really, write home about. It's a little bit quicker, and is it the torpedoes that are slightly different? It has the set ones on it. No, the torpedoes are exactly the same. So the difference is a little bit of engine power. That's not enough for me to change the BRs. Also, the Project 35 and the 159 have an inherent issue where they get outranged by at least 2 kilometers by most destroyers. So as long as you keep them at about like 6 kilometers away, they can't really do any damage to you, which is a real problem. The Project 35 and the 159 start really doing damage at 4.0 kilometers kilometers and below. So shooting outside of that, your guns don't really do a lot. And therefore, you can just beat them up before they even get close to you. Like, you have like 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers worth of attacking them before they can even start doing decent damage. So seeing them go down, not a surprise. It still keeps them in that destroyer bracket, so it doesn't really change much. The River class is going down once again to 3.3, so its days of 3.7 were very much numbered. It started off life at 3.3. It annihilated everything at 3.3, especially after the hull break changes, because obviously the River class has 2 wonderful guns on it in the form of the 4 inches, which are pretty good firing. So you could pretty much just run it at 3.3 with the Fairmile, the Brave class if you wanted. You could throw in the SGB in there, which is really good. The Dark class if you wanted to as well. All of these vehicles were great. And then just farm people. If I'm honest with you, just straight up farm people in a really, really aggressive, really, really fun way. But then when it went up to 3.7, so now it's against destroyers, and now it's getting twatted. And also they changed its spawn, which definitely didn't help it. So now with its change of spawn, it's going back down to 3.3. I think this is fine. They've done enough in the form of the spawn to screw with it. The MV611 is going down to 2.3. The MV611 is the machine which has access to 6 20mm Berettas. Not a surprise that it's going down to 2.3. Its effectiveness is nowhere near the level of the Vosper, which is at rank 1 with the quad 20 on the back. It's nice to have the 6 20mm, but the problem I have with the Italians is the fact that they have no cruise on their machine and they're all clumped up in the center. So it's so easy to kill their crafts, and this isn't just an MV problem, this is a lot of their problems. So yeah, bit of an issue, but it going down in BR is fine. It'll mean that you can run it at 2.3 with that pretty solid lineup. You know, the MS472, which has access to the torpedoes and the 40 on the front, the Vosper, which is a very, very clean PT boat, and the MV611 with your little gunboat stats. The Trento is also going down to 5.3. Not a surprise if you look at its stats. It's not on the level of 5.7s. When they decided, and a lot of the dev blogs, to say the big advantage of a lot of these Italian ships was their speed. Their top speed and acceleration is better than anything else out there. And then you actually look at the stats and they're only 5 or 10 kilometers faster than anything else, but they've lost so much when in terms of armor and main armament. Yeah, they're not going to do great, are they? So the Trento going down in BR, not a surprise to me at all. The Project 123 BIS, just got to check which one this is actually, because there's so many different project ships from the Soviets. The 122 BIS is this one. Is it in the tree? Oh, I don't know where it is. I know where the 122 BIS is. My guess is it's very similar to this one. I'll probably find it at some point. I'll come back to it. Maybe I'll be able to see it. Or, you know, I'll just have a look online. But anyway, so the next one is the Bartolomeo Colleoni. So same issue as before, as I said, with the the Italian cruisers. Once again, the problem with it is, of course, that they were designed to be a specific way, and that specific way doesn't exactly fit the meta of what the game is. So yeah, not surprising to see it go down when it comes to the game. Now let's just see. So the 123 BIS is actually in the first line. Okay, so it's just one of these PT boats with 2 12-7s on it. And is it going up in BR? Yeah, it's going up in BR. I think that's fine. You know, it brings it to the same level as the Consomolets, and that just means that it'll be able to be run with it. The difference between the Consomolets and the 123 BIS is the guns, but the two Dishkas are not equal to the 14.5s, but they still do a ton of damage to everything, so I wouldn't be too worried about, you know, what's going on with those machines. Somehow I've spaded this thing, but I have 10 free repairs on it. So I've somehow spaded it without dying. So that that's definitely a tick in its book. The Project 191M is also coming out of the changes. The 191M is going up to 3.0, and it's just a better version of the 191, which was already at 2.7. The main difference with it is the armament. Once again, 12.7s going to 14.5s. The 14.5s are actually your main armament on the 191M, and you always change your secondaries. 4 14.5s do a ton of damage to a lot of other PT boats, and it's actually really fun to play it. So I would highly recommend playing that machine if you haven't yet. It's also one of the only machines at that level which has a bit of armor behind it, so people running HE could actually run into a few issues with you. The next vehicle is the 165-footer PC-466 Kami. This is, of course, the premium machine for the Americans, which the game keeps trying to sell me, and it's always been weird how it is a higher BR than the 165-footer PC-451, especially since it has 2 3-inch guns and 2 20s on it, whereas the 156 has 1 3-inch on the front and then a bunch of 20s. Generally, at the level of 2.0, what happens is you look for stuff with a ton of fire rates, which is able to put out a ton of damage, and the 3-incher isn't really that. You know, the 20s are much more effective at that BR, so seeing it go down, not a surprise, brings it in level with the 110-footer and also the 165er. The Fairmile D5001 and the Fairmile D697 are moving down to 3.3 respectively. So this is the 697. Well, what is the other one? The 5001. Is that a premium one? That might be a premium one. Like, I don't see it in the tech tree, unfortunately. But the 697 moving down to 3.3, I think, is a positive move. It isn't any better than something like an SGB Fox. The Fairmile D, with its 57mm and its 20s and its 12s all over the place, it just shows that it's the BRs of the British Naval were all over the place for the longest time. They were all way too high for what they are. I still think some of them are way too high. Like, why is the Fairmile C332? Why is this machine 3.3 instead of 3.0 or 2.7? Why is, you know, well, thank God the Fairmile D is coming down, so now you can run it with the Brave class, with the River class when that gets brought down, and overall you can have a bit of a party. So I think it's a good move to bring it down, but I'm just kind of surprised that this hasn't happened earlier. You know what I mean? It's just it's one of those changes which you know, I could see coming a mile off for the Fairmiles, but it's you know, I shouldn't be complaining that it's happening, but I am complaining a little bit, you know, that it took so long. The Fairmile D is a gift rank 2 motorboat. It seems, or the 5001, I should say, was introduced in 1.83 Masters of the Sea. My guess is it was the premium you could buy with it. Unfortunately, I don't have it. It seems very similar to what you have in the Fairmile D697, so that's why they're both moving down. The LCS L3 is coming down again. It was definitely shafted hard, but that was because it was an insane vehicle. The LCS, once again, a lot of these changes seem to be predicated on the fact that there was, you know, the spawn changes to these vehicles, and therefore some of them just became kind of useless because of having to spawn with stuff like destroyers, where they were just kind of mini destroyers. But the LCS L3 kind of got shafted by the fact that it was so good in the closed beta. The LCS L3, my stats in it, 172 kills, 27 deaths, and also 10 air kills just to help out. That's a victory percentage of 91%. I annihilated in this thing. I felt good in that thing. It was fun as hell, and it was one of the most overpowered vehicles at the time, and because of that, it got put up to ridiculous amounts when it came to its overall change in BR. The other thing is the Asheville's going down to 3.7 as well. I think these are both fine. Both of these machines are not 4.0 material. Comparing them to destroyers is ridiculous. They don't have the firepower, they don't have the speed, they don't have the extra utility and the torpedoes and stuff like that. So moving them down is good. once we get a big gap between stuff like gunboats and destroyers, I think we'll be in a much better place. The BMO is going up to 2.7. That's fine. You know, the BMO, which is the Soviet little ship with the 45 on the front and the 37, does a ton of damage, and also once again is one of the only machines at its BR with a bit of armor, so therefore it can tank a few shells and be able to deal tons of damage. So seeing that go up, not a surprise. The Jaguar class going up to 4.0, once again, not a surprise. The Jaguar class is being annihilating everything for a long time. It is also swapping with the MZ1, so yeah, just make sure that make sure you understand that. And the reason why the Jaguar class is so good is because it has the 240mm, which are very much rapid firing. When it comes to it, they fire 240 rounds per minute, so that is what 4 rounds per second, and so 0.25 seconds a round, which just shows you how fast these 40s are. And it also has access to really good torpedoes, has access to really good speed. It's one of the best, if not the best, PT boats in the game, and it's also something that dominates that bracket of 3740 when it comes to the small ship battles. When you have the destroyers battling out, these things are just annihilating everything around them. So to see that go up, not a surprise. The MZ1 is going down to 3.3, so yeah, they're trying to push people to use the MZ1 over the Jaguar class. I don't think that's going to happen, because once again, why would you use 88s when you could use rapid firing 40s against targets with no armor? If you actually introduced armor into the area, then yes, there'll be a reason to take the MZ1, but right now there is no reason because of the Jaguar class. So maybe the change in BR will help it. The Sionen is going up to 3.7. The Sionen got a massive reload buff on it, so it really is not a surprise that it's going up in BR again. It's actually a really good machine, and went for a long period of time just being unsinkable. It was nearly impossible to kill that thing, so to see it go up in BR is, I definitely came to resent that machine a lot, so I'm happy to see it go up. I'm not going to lie to you at all. The Fairmile ML 100 is going down to 1.3. This is the one which only has the 3-pounder Hotchkiss cannon on it and the Lewis machine guns. It really isn't a good Fairmile. It's actually one of the it is the only machine that I have at rank 1 for Britain that I haven't spaded, because it was just such a rough go of it. The PT boats were a lot more fun with their 40mm Rolls-Royce guns and stuff like the Dark class. So seeing that go down to 1.3 means that now you can run it with like the Vosper 1 and really hate your life, because you realize Lewis machine guns are absolutely terrible in naval battles. The Type 5 is also going down to 1.7, another big Kahuga with a 75mm on it, and guess what? Well, when 100mm are the ones that hull break and you have a 75, that just means that you keep popping rounds with a low reload at ships which are just firing about 50 to 100 bullets at the same time, annihilating you. So yeah, not a surprise to see it go down. The cannon and boots is going up to 4.0. The K2 can go up to 5.7 for all I care. The K2 ruined naval forces that BR for the longest time because of its spawn, because of its hull break, and all of that good stuff. It was just an insane machine. It still is an insane machine, and the only thing it is hampered by is its speed. And when you spawn so close to the enemy, that speed isn't an issue. Just to give you an idea, I am 51 kills in it, 51 naval kills, 8 air kills, 19 deaths, and all I did was sit there and pop people. It does have a different spawn now, so it's not as strong, but it's still a very good vehicle. Not surprised to see it go up. The Belfast is staying at 5.3. I think personally it's a 5.7. It should be, I don't know why it says 5.3 to 5.3. Maybe that's a typo, because of the fact that it is going up to 5.7 in realistic, and a lot of these BR changes seem to follow their realistic counterparts. So if it's going up to 5.7, that's a good change. It should be going up to 5.7. If it's staying up at 5.3, then it is literally pay to win, because it's just a same or better version than a tech tree vehicle, which is at 5.7. The Elco 80 footer PT103 and PT109 are both going down to 1.7 from 2.0, and the 109 or the 103. I'm pretty sure the 109 is the premium one, and the 103 is not. Yeah, the 103 is the Alco 80 footer. It has 120 and 450s on it. Going down to 1.7 I think is okay. You create a really strong 1.7 lineup though with the PT-20, PT-71 and 80-foot Nasty. You can now technically have 5 different boats at that BR. I think it's still fine at 2.0 though with that armament and also with the torpedoes, but I'm a little bit biased towards American vehicles because of their overall maneuverability and being able to influence the battle quite seriously. The Caco is going down to 5.0. Which one is the Caco? Let's see. Oh, it's the first heavy cruiser in the rank 5 line, so this will make it easier to get into those big old 5.7 chunkers. From the Japanese point of view, it has only 6 200s on it, 4 120s, and 2 dual 13.2s. Since everything gets sucked up into that 5.7 BR, hopefully this will mean that it gets a little bit more use, because at 5.3 you basically just go, why would I use it when the Agano exists? Why would I use it when the Suzuya, the Mogami, the Tone, and also the Furutaka? Why would I use it when all of these machines exist? And if I'm going to be playing at 5.7 anyway, what is the point? Naval, in my opinion, if we have a look at top tier, it needs an expansion into 6.0 just to basically differentiate between the good 5.7s and the bad 5.7s, because there are so many of them out there right now. The MBK 161 1943, that is going down to, that is going up to 3.0. This is the 161. Which one is the 161? They all have such similar names. It's the premium one, and it has access to the 276s, the 45, and the 37. I think this is fine going up to 3.0. It's basically got the same armament, or if not the similar armament, to the Project 186, which is already at 3.0 in the tech tree. So yeah, I think that's fine. It's okay for that to go up. It's got really good armament on it. So the MBK Project 186 MK85. Pretty sure this is another one of the premiums. Yeah, it is. It has 285s, a 37, and 2 dual 12 7s. That's going up to 3.3. We'll have to see if those 85s can carry it at 3.3. The 85s in general are pretty good in naval forces, but they don't hull break, and that's a problem. So they can dish out a decent amount of damage. The main issue when it comes to these vehicles, once again, is they have armor. So they can actually shrug off shells, and they have a decent amount of crew, so they can stay alive. So if you come up against something that doesn't have, doesn't have stuff such as armor penetrating rounds, then you kind of dick on them. So yeah, seeing them go up, not a surprise. And the last one is the Turbine. Now, the Turbine is the Italian first destroyer that you get. It's going down to 3.7. Does it need to? I'm not sure. Like, the 3.7 BR destroyers are pretty bad. Like, if you compare it to the Matsuki has the 4 120s and also the 277s. The Turbine is better than that in pretty much every way. The torpedoes might be slightly worse, though. The Clemson L45, of course, the British one, is absolutely despicable. Worst destroyer in the game. The Fruns, I suppose it's pretty close to the Fruns, so that would make a little bit of sense. What do the Germans have? They have the Jaguar with the 3 105s, and then the Leopard with the 3 127s, and then the 1939. Okay, so I can see, where these ideas come from, and also the Clemsons, of course, for the Americans. So yeah, I think moving it down to 3.7 makes it a pretty strong 3.7, but overall not a huge change. If I'm honest with you, not a massive one. I think it will just make it a little bit more playable now, but still, you don't really have a BR that you can use it at. What you're going to be stuck at with it is there aren't any of the 3.7s to run it with. So if you do want to run it, you're going to have to run it with stuff like the Fulgore, P490 and the Sparviero. And I mean, I suppose that's an okay lineup, but it's definitely not the best in the book. So you're probably going to end up using the Dardo with it anyway, and it'll be very, very similar. But yeah, comparing it to the other 3.7s, I suppose it kind of fits in that BR, but I think it was fine at 4.0 as well. So that is all the changes that were available to us today. I'm sure there'll be some added to these over time. I'll make sure to keep you updated. The highlights are obviously the F-104s going up in BR, the 10.7 BR being introduced to ground forces, and also a few other ones like the Leopard 2K going down in BR and the 279 going up in BR, and also for the naval stuff, the Jaguar class going up because that is a terror of the sea. Anyway, as always, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful day, have a wonderful night, have a wonderful world. I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank Ambrosius McClellan, B. Young, Battling Bacon, Blackie, Chris Giltnane, Conte Baraka, Daniel Stanton, Elove Goat, Jay Wilt, Martinez, Trigger Hippie, Universe, Eugens Terry, and also I'm Devilish and Samuel Slick for supporting the channel.